Now today I want to talk about who the holy people are. And I want to read you some of Matthew 23, I think it is. And I'll go and I'll try to explain some of it as I go through it. There's one thing that everybody seems to misunderstand, is that the Lord is constantly telling us that He is God everywhere in the Bible, and if you have open eyes and open ears, you will see it. Okay, starting on number 1 here, then Jesus said to the crowds and to the disciples, the scribes and the Pharisees. The Pharisees sit on Moses' seat. That means the high priests that were there, that Jesus was speaking to, are sitting on Moses' seat, the highest seat in the temple. And these are the people that He is talking to. He is talking to the people that are in charge of all His holy people. So you should practice whatever they tell you, but don't do what they do. For they preach, but do not practice. They tie up heavy burdens, hard to bear, and lay them on people's shoulders. But they themselves are not willing to move them with their finger. They do all their deeds to be seen by others. But they make their phylacteries broad and their fringes long. You know what this is, eh? You know those leather straps that they wear and they wrap around their arms and their legs, and they make them really, really long and really show themselves like, I am a worshiper of God, like I am, you got to respect me, like I'm a real preacher of God. These are the people that He is talking to here. And greeting in the marketplaces, being called rabbi by others. They just love this kind of stuff. But you are not to be called rabbi, for you have one teacher. That goes along with also saying that you have also one God. And you are all brothers. And call no man your father on earth, for you only have one Father, who is in heaven. Well, who is that that's in heaven? Jesus. He's in heaven. So He's the Father, and you only have one. He's your teacher. Neither be called instructors, for you have one instructor, the Christ. There you go. See? Reconfirming that Christ is God, God is Jesus. There's no getting around. He constantly is telling us in His words. The greatest among you shall be your servant. That's Jesus. He's the greatest among us. He's our servant. So He also wants us to be the same way. He wants us to serve rather than to be served. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted. But woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites! For you shut the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. The kingdom of heaven is standing right in front of them. They're shutting Him away from all the people. That's what He's talking about. He's talking about, you're killing me, you're shutting me out of my people. They're my people. I'm the Father. I'm the teacher. I'm the true God. You're shutting me off from all these people. That's what you're doing. So He called them hypocrites. For you neither enter yourselves, nor allow those who would enter to go in. He's telling them that you're not getting into heaven because you don't believe in me. I'm standing right in front of you. I'm the kingdom of heaven. But I'm not going to let you in. That's what He's telling them. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites! For you travel across the sea and land to make a single convert. And when he becomes like them, you make him twice as much a child as hell as yourselves. So all these people that they're trying to bring in, they're going to hell too, because they don't believe in him. They're telling him that he is just a false prophet and he's a cult, but he's not. He's our teacher, he's our Lord, and he's our God. Woe to you, blind guides. He's calling his chosen people, his high priests that sit on Moses' seat, blind guides. If anyone swears by the temple, it is nothing. But if anyone swears by the gold on the temple, he is bound by his oath. How can, if someone swear by gold, be bound to the temple or to God? No, you have to swear by the temple. That's his house. That's like saying that the house of God is not important, but gold is. You know, that really makes a lot of sense. You blind fools, for which is greater, the gold or the temple that has made the gold sacred? And you say, if anyone swears by the altar, it is nothing. But if anyone swears by the gift on it, he is bound by its oath. Well, here we go again. Swearing by something else that is not God. God, the temple, the altar is all sacred. The altar is used for sacrifices, the forgiveness of sins, but you just rather swear by other things that don't mean nothing. You blind men, for which is greater, the gift or the altar that makes the gift sacred? So whoever swears by the altar swears by it and everything on it. And whoever swears by the temple swears by it and by him who dwells in it. Who dwells in it? Jesus. He dwells in it. And whoever swears by heaven swears by God's throne. Who's that? Jesus. That's God's throne. He sits on the throne. And by him who sits upon it. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you give a tenth of your mint and dill and cumin, and have neglected the weather matters of the law, justice and mercy and faithfulness. Yes, that's what our God is. Our God is a God of love. He's a God of mercy. He's a God of forgiveness. These are the things that are important. Giving cumin and cherries and whatever, melons or whatever you want to give isn't important. What is important is love and forgiveness and faithfulness, not lying and befriending someone, backstabbing them. That's not what he wants from us. These you ought to have done without neglecting the others. You blind guides, straining out a gnat and swallowing a camel. Well, that's exactly what it is. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you clean the outside of the cup and dish and the plate, but on the inside are full of greed and self-indulgence. You blind Pharisees! First clean the inside of the cup and the plate, and then the outside will also be clean. He's talking about believing in me and asking me for forgiveness, and I will cleanse you of your sin. And once I cleanse you of your sin, you will be clean. That's what he means. But because they're filthy and they don't have God with them, they're dirty. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees and hypocrites! For you are like whitewashed tombs. How dreadful is that to say to his high priest? They must have very done something wrong for him to say something like that about anybody. You whitewashed tombs, which outwardly appear beautiful. Yes, they are beautiful. They wear all these beautiful, nice garments, and they're phylacteries, and they wear all these special tassels and all that, and walk around with righteous people, and they sit right in front in the synagogues, and they want to sit in the front seats, and they want to sit there and pretend that they worship God and everything, but they have not done any of those things. They're just blind guides. So you outwardly appear righteous to others, but within you are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness. Where we had a malfunction. This is the judgment. So that on you may come the righteous blood shed on earth, from the blood of the innocent Abel to the blood of Zachariah, son of Berechiah, whom you murdered between the sanctuary and the altar. Truly, I say to you, all these things will come upon this generation. So you see, in this whole lecture, you see that the Jewish people, the Jesus non-believing Jewish people, this is the judgment for them. This is what Jesus has judged them and has given them to partake in. Their food that is going to come without measure. And we, as are His children, we have to teach these things and continue to face our persecution. Some of us, they might flog, depending on where you are in the world. If you are in some of those countries like Syria and they will flog you. They will kill you because of the name of Jesus. This still goes on in the world today. And some of you that live, say, in the United States and Canada, where I'm from is Canada, there is still lots of persecution here too. From your own family, there's persecution. There's persecution from your friends. They make it so they don't want you to talk about God in any way around them. They will be like they're ashamed of you speaking about God, Jesus, in front of their friends. They don't wish you to strike up a conversation about Jesus. They don't want you to, they want to keep you down. But you have to rise up and face this for Jesus. And He would do the same for you. He would lay down Himself for you. And as just in return, you would also have to do the same thing for Him. Well, I hope you look forward to my next video. And I'll try to explain more things that His Spirit has revealed to me. The reason why He said these things, these particular things here, is because they are still doing the same thing in Jerusalem. And nothing's going to change until they believe in Jesus. When they believe in Jesus, Jesus will let them build that temple up there. But not for those reasons. Not for sacrificing. That Jesus abolished the sacrificing. He did it. He is the Lamb. He's a sacrificial lamb. He abolished sacrificing. There's no more sacrificing on earth. He is the sacrifice. So if they want to build a temple and resume what they thought that they used to have before, Jesus will not allow this. Jesus will not allow them to build a temple on top of that Temple Mount and start animal sacrifices. There's no way that my Father will let them do this again. He abolished it. He will not let them start this all over again. So you don't have to worry about that. And they won't have their temple until they say those words. They say that they believe in Him. When they believe in Him, Jesus will build a glorious temple for them. But until then, they're going to have to live what they got. There is no way Jesus is going to let them have that all over again. He took that away from them. They failed to do what he taught them to do. We are the holy people. What we say on earth is what happens to us. We are in control. What we bound on earth will be bound in heaven. God bless you all, my friends. Look for my videos.